Okay, JORRI is up next. Thank you for waiting, JORRI. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, considering. I'm
Yes.
I'm happy that it's over now.
JORRI, take us tactically through why we lost that game.
I mean, tactically, I don't think it was too much tactically. To be honest, it's more to do with maturity. The front line is not mature enough. I will say one thing, which is a big thing on Ange, is that if we're going to be playing Son like this, that's a huge mistake. We should have sold them this summer if this is how we're going to be playing Son. Son, of course, has a lot of responsibility himself, but just setting up in that kind of trying to use Son as any other winger is not the way to go. So I was disappointed in seeing, even though I think the instruction had been for Sonny to shoot, and that's what we saw him kind of fumbling with, trying to find some space and stuff, and being out of position a lot and so on. But Sonny had a really awful game, to be honest.
He doesn't seem to, JORRI, sorry to interrupt, but he doesn't seem to even listen to the instruction to get in at the back post, does he? When the ball's at the other side, he seems to just he seems to kind of just kind of trot late into the box.
Exactly, and to be honest, even though I know Sonny is always kind of a stand-up guy and does the right thing and all of that, to be honest, I'm fearing that Sonny is not buying this. He's not really on board with it anymore, or I don't know. Because the last part of the game was really, I thought, if anybody should be getting the troops up to rile them up, it would be Sonny. And he was really one of the most passive, non-engaged players in our team. So. And Cody was very unfocused, I felt, even though he had some amazing tackles and, still world class, but he had quite a lot of unfocused moments, I think. And of course, I mean, for me, I've said it before, Barnaby, like zone defense is, I don't know of any big success story that's built on zone defense. You need to man mark, I think. Even if the man marking is gonna cost you a little bit on the transition, or maybe stretch some individuals more than others and so on. I like, especially with a young squad, zone defense is too complicated. It's too confusing. You're inviting too much chaos in my view.
But Romero was trying to man Mark Gabriel, wasn't he? He just lost him, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that for sure. The way we set up for corners and set pieces is definitely improved a lot, but he lost them exactly, and also doesn't help that our own players are blocking Vicario being able to.
No, that was mental.
Yeah. So
that's like literally imagine being that nerdy Arsenal set piece coach tonight, where you're just like, oh, actually, they did it for you.
Exactly.
Spurs players actually blocking your own goalkeeper.
At least he had money today.
I think they thought they were protecting him, but turned out the other way, really. So,
JORRI, can you see just to go back to what you said about Sonny then? Can you see a world where Ange will ever drop Son?
No, I don't think so. I think we've made a big mistake. If this is what we're playing, Sonny, I love Sonny. He's definitely been one of my favorite players of all time in the club. But if this is how we're going to play with him, then we should have sold him this summer. If he's going to be playing a full season like this, he's going to lose a lot of value, and we're not going to get the end result out of him as we should be getting. But it's also on Sonny, of course. Sonny is a senior player there, and he should be demanding that the coach kind of work around him and uses his strengths, So, but I don't think Ange is that kind of a coach anyway. But I just feel in general I mean, we're kind of today. I don't feel like it was any tactical mistake. I was happy to see him go with Kula in the middle, like we talked about on your show, Barnaby, and
that's right.
And and I think it's just down to personnel and the maturity of it and the quality of it. And I have to pick up you, Marlon. Yeah, I thought your post game take was spot on, to be honest. And I think I feel also. I've said I was one of the first, I think, kind of at least regulars to be fairly critical of Ange, and I've gone over what that was about, and I can do it again. But now I've seen Ange adapt and be more tactical about things. I'm kind of happy with it again. But of course, in general, it's a question of if this is a viable strategy at all, and if, everybody's always referring to Ange's past success. And if we have to go by that, well, Ange in his past, these success stories in his past, he wasn't losing to this amount. Like, we're losing a lot, and we're conceding crazy, So there is definitely not the old Ange story just repeating itself. There's definitely a new twist to it. And I've always thought in general, and just like we talk about players, it's like, yeah, he's amazing in the Ligue 1 and he's amazing in La Liga, but let's see how he does in the Premier League. Yeah. That, of course, goes 10 times more for managers, I feel like, and I do feel like I've always, kind of thought maybe Ange is too one-sided or one-focused for the Premier League. But also, I'm also starting to think maybe that's not what he's trying to do. He's just trying to get the shape absolutely 100% correct before he goes into the tactics. And then I'm happy with it as well. But my big point, Barnaby and Marlon, is that I completely agree with you, Marlon. There's no point in changing managers. And if we come to a point where Ange is fired and pushed out of the club, there is nothing really for us to engage with other than seeing a change of ownership. It is definitely down to the way the club is run, unless I'm holding a slight hope that Ange might actually fit this ownership. That's kind of my only hope. But we're definitely not in good. It doesn't look great at this moment, But I'm not freaking out either, even though I hate to see Arsenal kind of write their season at our ground and like. Did you say, Barnaby, they've won more at our stadium than we have?
Well, they've now won more than we've won at theirs. Yep.
That's disgraceful, really. And to be honest, Coventry lost now, and he will start getting nervous.
He'll get the trigger finger, won't he? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask you about that, JORRI. Then I'll be doing the watch along here for the Coventry game. Do you think Ange? If I'm in Ange's shoes now, I think he has to play his first team for that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think he has to basically play his best player. If he brings Fraser Forster in, if he brings Fraser Forster in on Wednesday and he drops in a clanger, then people are going to go for Ange big time.
If he doesn't go strong, that will definitely be, for me, my final kind of proof that Ange is a little bit too naive and doesn't really get it, to be honest.
But can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So regarding strength, right? It's the players that are so when we say strong, are we looking at a similar lineup to today? Because that lineup has been letting him down for the last how many games? is it a case of it needs to be a mix of both? Because we actually now need to see the new signings to see if they can actually be on this level at some point. So where do we go? Because like you said, Sonny, does he need to play against Coventry if this is the system that he's going to be in? Because he's going to be there's no point seeing it against Coventry because
maybe my instincts.
I think Sonny should sit. Sorry, Banby, you go.
No, I was just going to say, just through my head, I'm just going to go through my head and think what I imagine he's actually going to do on Wednesday night now. I think I'm really nervous he's going to play Fraser fucking Forster, I have to say. But let's take that out of the equation. I think he's going to play Spence instead of Porro. I think he'll play Dragoshin instead of Romero. He'll let Van de Ven get some more minutes in his legs. He'll play Ben Davis instead of Udogie. And then I think he'll play Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall in the middle. I don't know who with.
I think he might play Reguilon, you know.
No, he can't play Reguilon. He hates Reguilon.
Yeah, but he's had to register him.
And then up front, I think he'll play team over. I think he'll probably do like a 6 and 5 or a 7 and 4.
Johnson has to play.
What do you think, Jorri?
I think you might be right. I think he probably has made some promises already that he's going to honor, you know. And but if I was managing, I'll tell you that I would tweak. I would substitute a couple of players, but I would put out the same team and the same setup, basically, simply for them to get it over the line. This would be an opportunity for them to feel what it's supposed to feel like when everything is clicking and they're finishing all of it, and then they can come back into the Premier League and repeat that. But I do kind of tend to agree with you. He's probably already kind of set a certain cup team, and that's what he's going to play. But if he doesn't bring a strong team for this game, he's naive, and his bravado is not serving him well. Then I don't think that will show me that he doesn't realize how quickly things escalate in the top.
Yeah, in the top level. Some people just saying in the chat, and have been for a few hours now actually, Ruben Amorim, the sporting coach. If Ange were to continue on this bad form, he's quite an attacking coach. Obviously, he did play Porro with him.
Does he play?
I want to put my 2 cents in for that, actually, guys. But like, I would definitely reiterate Marlon's point that it makes no difference really, or any point of changing managers.
I agree.
This, but let's say, you know, the culture's right and whatever. The next guy I would really want to see, and which I would have a bit of hope for, would be Gasperini. I think having a front foot guy that's been in a defensive league and been developing youngsters like no tomorrow would be a pretty good fit.
Was he the Atalanta guy? Who's he?
Yeah, he's the Atalanta coach. Yeah, and the only kind of problem I see is that is maybe like the Italian culture versus our boardroom English culture. Of course, we've seen that clash before, but yeah, in terms of playing, like I would love to see that one at some point. And of course, I want to see Potts back at some point, but I want this club to be fully healed by then, you know, to fully be a football club where we're going for on-field success and not only boardroom success, you know. So, and I'm not saying that the boardroom is not doing anything in that regard. I'm just saying the latter is the top priority. We need to switch it, or at least have it on par.
All right, Jorri, thank you so much for calling in, mate. Really appreciate it. And
take care, guys. Great show as always.
Thank you, mate. Try and enjoy the rest of your weekend.